Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
All right, let's do it. Hey guys, welcome to the Game Club podcast, and I'm joined by my good friends, She Says,
Hello.
and Beta64.
That's me. I'm Beta 64.
And I am Andy of a+start, and today we are going to talk about, yeah, we can clap that. We're going to talk about, I don't know what this voice is I'm doing. We're going to talk about Luigi's Mansion 3.
That's a game.
Yay! It is a game.
Mm-hmm.
I said it was a
Thanks
game.
for watching.
And that's it, yeah. I said it was a game that I didn't think would ever really happen.
Oh,
know,
way.
Wait, when did you say that?
Just because after Dark Moon, I felt like Dark Moon took a different direction than the original. I think that's pretty agreed upon. That it's
Well, let's
bad.
see. Is it agreed upon, folks? What'd you think of Dark Moon?
Yes, it's different.
Yes, I didn't like it.
It wasn't that I didn't like it. I just felt like the first one set up such an atmosphere, and I love the idea of it being in one setting. And then Dark Moon kind of took it into many different places. It felt very segmented. And
sure.
I'm not saying I didn't like. I enjoyed Dark Moon, but just not as much as the original.
Really quick, I will say that I did not like Dark Moon, period. And
Hey,
I,
there
yeah,
we go.
and it's because honestly, it's just like you said. The atmosphere of the first game was so well done when you compare the two, and I'll be honest, I used to not like the gameplay of Luigi's Mansion that much, and so the thing that drew me in was the exploratory, atmospheric environments of the game, and that was stripped away. And then what's left is the core gameplay that I never was a fan of to begin with. So Dark Moon did
That makes
nothing
sense.
for me. It did nothing for me.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
didn't like that they changed it. I'm gonna be this way on this whole podcast, and I'm sorry, but I don't want people to change my Luigi's Mansion.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot to say. About Luigi's Mansion 3. It's not gonna be all bad, I promise. But
Okay.
there is.
Can you
gonna
promise
be
me it
some
will be?
We'll see.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
All right,
let
so
you
let's-
make up your
why
mind.
don't we actually talk about the game then?
Yeah.
So first of all, what was everybody's impressions before the game came out?
Would you mean from like the direct that they
Yeah.
first announced it? I was very hype about it because, like I said, I didn't really think it would happen. I don't know. I just felt like they took a different direction with 2, and 2 was handled by Next Level Games. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So it wasn't
Same
a
people.
Nintendo. Yeah, so it wasn't directly made by Nintendo, so that could account for some of the differences. And when it's made by somebody else, you kind of think, well, is that going to happen again? So I didn't really think it would happen. They announced it, and I was like, yes, like I'm into it because I from what they showed in that original trailer, it felt like they were trying to go for what the original Luigi's Mansion did. I mean, we had shades of that in Dark Moon, but then, like we said, they changed settings, so it was no longer in this kind of haunted mansion kind of thing, which I think we can all agree is the intended aesthetic for the whole thing. It's like supposed to be spooky mansion times.
Right.
Yeah, it's spooky
Yeah.
mansion time. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, when I saw the trailers, and when I found out it was Next Level Games as well, immediately it just went off my radar. I was like, look, Dark Moon kind of burned me pretty bad, and I'm not interested in looking too deep into this game. But I mean, I'll just spoil a little bit. My opinions changed quite a bit.
Oh,
Anyways,
damn!
what about
I don't
you,
know what
Beta?
sound I just make. Well, when I saw the trailer and I saw the that it was made by Next Level Games and I saw the ghost designs, I was immediately like very leery. I was like, you please don't no. And then I heard from a lot of people like who played it at E3 and like whatever different places you could play the demo at, and they're like, nah, dude, it's like 2 and 1 together. It's got like lots of parts from 1, lots of parts from 2, and immediately I was like, I can live with this. I'm excited now. I got excited towards the end.
Yeah.
I can do this. I can
Do you
that.
guys feel that because it was on a handheld, this is Dark Moon, because it was on a handheld, that makes a difference somehow? Because I will say that somebody's analogy of it combining 1 and 2 together fits really well with 3. I feel like just the way Luigi moves in 3 is I mean, maybe I should have played Dark Moon more recently because I've forgotten, but it feels like he moves more like he does in the first one, in the third one. If that makes sense.
Yeah. From
Yeah.
what I remember, yeah.
I'll say, having gone through all 3 recently, not all the way through, but dabbled a bit for various reasons. The animation in 3 is like on another level. It's on a next level.
Like, comment, and
Very
subscribe.
nice.
With Dark Moon, yeah, it's a little stiff, and it's just because of the controls in general. He doesn't do a whole lot in terms of animations, idle animations, stuff like that. And in the original game, his teeth kind of chatter and stuff like that. But it kind of like it stays to that. With this game, he's so expressive, and
yes.
even when he's walking around, he his eyes will shift to wherever the flashlight's pointing and stuff like that, and it won't even do all the time a full head turn. Like he'll kind of look with his eyes first and stuff like that. It's incredible. And I made a point on Twitter at a certain point where just walking through a hallway can make it look like it's a cutscene when it's not. You're in control of the character. It's that good, and it's never been that good.
Can we just talk about how beautiful the way the game looks, just the shaders that they've used and the light sources and everything just really sell everything. And like you said, it feels like you're watching a cutscene, but you're not. It's like everything's in real time. It's like this is how we know we've gone to the next level. I wasn't trying to set that up, I promise, but it's yeah.
Okay. Well, the thing that makes it. See, the thing is, I'm pretending like I don't like it, but I secretly really like it.
So okay, all right.
The joke, the next level joke, not the
Oh,
game.
okay.
Oh, okay.
I
Not
thought you meant the
don't worry.
game.
I was gonna
Okay.
say the game does look fantastic. Like it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Handheld TV mode. It's beautifully animated. It's beautifully done with the shaders, like you said. The lighting's good. Everything. The water. Oh, I always look for the water first. You know me. You guys know me and water.
A good graphic game. That's not even a sentence. Let's try that again.
water, baby.
A game with good graphics, usually you got to look at the water. Absolutely.
Water.
Yeah, you can tell
the
a
water.
game by the water.
It's funny. It's funny because our last episode was Link's Awakening, and one of the things that, you guys have said it, and people outside of that episode have said it, and I'm sitting here what game am I playing that is so different? Because everyone was saying the graphics have never looked so good on a Nintendo Switch, and I was like, well, that's a really big claim. And then we move on to Luigi's Mansion 3. Which performs way better than that game and looks way better. The lighting is way better. The textures are way better.
Agreed.
Everything. Animations are way better. It's by comparison's sake, this looks like something that belongs on a PS4. Link's Awakening did not, in my opinion.
I could
No. I think that's fair. Actually,
There's
I
so
think
many
that's
good-looking games on the Switch, though. There's so many. I mean, have you seen Astral Chain?
No, I have no interest in that.
Well,
I
I
have zero
don't
interest.
really have that much interest in it either, but just the graphics. The graphics.
But it's like it's cell shaded, is it not? It's going for that kind of. It looks like
Kinda.
anime.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's I just mean it's amazing what the Switch can do.
The Switch is a kind of secret little powerhouse in some terms. I think they just need to know how to access that that
You
power.
just gotta have the special key.
the special key.
Go
that
up to
some-
Miyamoto and just be like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, can I have the special key? And he'd be like,
Nani?
Nani?
He wouldn't say that.
No.
That's the
He-
second
he'd
time
be-
I've made that joke.
He actually knows English very well. He
Yeah,
just never
does he?
really uses it.
Are we talking about me?
No.
No, Miyamoto.
Oh,
Yeah, Jesus knows English really well. He just never uses it.
Yeah, he tries. We egg him on a little bit. We encourage him, but we,
Nani?
She says is 100% Japanese. Just letting you all know.
he hides that really well.
Yeah, really well. It's all under that baseball cap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful Japanese hair.
I think the Switch is a secret little powerhouse. I just think it's for some reason it still feels like it's early days with the Switch, and some developers even under the Nintendo umbrella still don't quite know how to use it. I mean, if Link's Awakening is anything to go by, there should have been optimizations in that game that made it run so much better than it did. And then you use something like Luigi's Mansion and the way it looks and how much must be going on screen at any one time, because they have all every object in the game is like its own thing, and it has physics applied to it, and it's like that's got to account for something.
You can completely clean an entire room in that game.
It's crazy. And also very glitchy, and it made my day in so many times. But but it's like that has to account for something. And so you look at something like Link's Awakening and compare it to Luigi's Mansion 3, and you kind of go, well, how did they get it so wrong on Link's Awakening? And then this runs. I know why. It's the frame rate.
Yeah, 30 frames per second, boy.
Yeah. Which also makes the game feel more cinematic
It's more spooky.
and more spooky.
That spooky frame rate.
Spookiness.
This actually, as I'm listening to you guys, there's so many topics I want to touch on. One of which is the environments are so detailed.
Yes.
Like there's, and again, you can interact with so much of it, but imagine if you don't, and you just stop and look at all the stuff that's on the shelves and on the ground and in the corners and on the ceilings and stuff like that. Every single room has like such an immaculate sense of detail that it's like you're robbing yourself of this beautiful immersion by like just powering through the game, and just like sucking it all up immediately before you even take a chance to look at it. Like, for example, the pizza boxes in Mario's hotel room. How about the hotel lobby before it goes to full ghost mode? There's like cakes and like balloons and
There's so much
gift
detail.
boxes. Yeah,
There's so much love put in this game.
Well, they're trying to. They also by placing like pizza boxes in Mario's room, you kind of go, "Oh, I know what he did that evening. He ate pizza." And you imagine it. That's like visual storytelling within a setting. They didn't have to do that, but they did it.
I love it.
So
I love it.
you, and I will quote you. She says, on one of your tweets, you were like, "This is very much the kind of game where it's a stop and smell the roses kind of thing. Like you do yourself a disservice by rushing through it."
Absolutely. I mean, like even the sound design. One of the complaints I've seen in reviews and stuff is that the music is pretty unforgettable. And I'll admit I can't really go back and hum much of anything from the game. But I'll tell you this: I can't hum much of anything from Metroid, Super Metroid either. But like it sets the tone perfectly.
That's the music.
It sets the tone perfectly, though.
So hard. Okay.
It does set the tone very. Yeah, it gives you what you need it to. It does what it needs to do.
And it does little Easter eggs too. Like, I don't know if you noticed this, but like in the start of the game, if you walk up to Mario, the soundtrack kind of shifts into the Mario Brothers theme, and if you walk up to Princess Peach, it's the castle theme from Super Mario 64.
Yeah,
it's really nice. I love it.
Touches.
I was about to say like, I remember one song from him. It's the one where it was da 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 da. Oh, right, that's the first game.
Yeah.
It was like, they reused a lot of some of the first. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a lot of nods to the first game.
They reused the area clear theme from Dark Moon. Do, 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 do. They used that again.
Yeah,
I wasn't a fan of that.
Me neither. That's the one thing I didn't like.
Do you remember when we were talking about the original Luigi's Mansion for podcast? And I said one of my strangely favorite tunes was when you beat a boss in that game. Yeah. And it kind of has this like ethereal kind of like theme in the background. It's not spooky, but it feels spooky, but it's very light and kind of like it's pretty. I would have preferred that to had been in this personally. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think next level games are going for their own thing, and I think they tried to make a good approximation of what the first game was, and then mixing with what the second game was. And I think this is at the happy medium.
Do you do you think it's time? Do you think it's far enough in where I can start saying a few things?
Please,
let me say that for what
Oh.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is, I love how much it calls back to stuff that I liked in the first game.
Okay.
And I just like that I feel like it nailed the theme. I think by having the different floors and the theming being all in the same building, and we're not jumping from location to location, I think that helped a lot. I would still prefer a game where it's all one spooky mansion. But yeah, sure. Okay, now you can go on hating the game. Go.
Well, okay. So I'll start my little rant. Okay, with I'm not used to this. Is this what she says? Is this what you feel like in a lot of episodes?
Nerve-wracking.
I should have
Scary.
pulled you aside before this episode and kind of, coached you through what it's
yeah,
like to be
okay.
a hater.
Oh gosh. Okay, here we go. I'll say this. I love Luigi's Mansion 3. I really do. I love Luigi's Mansion 1 miles better. And I'll tell you why. Okay, so Luigi's Mansion 3 is more of a game than Luigi's Mansion 1. Okay? Luigi's Mansion 1 is like an arcade game experience, okay? You don't really do a whole lot. You do the same thing over and over and over again, okay? So, by that account, Luigi's Mansion 3 is a better game, okay? Luigi's Mansion 3 has puzzles. It's got things for you to do. You got so many different locations and places to visit. You got a pirate ship. You got a freaking medieval thing. You got a movie set. You got a spooky plant guy. You got so many different things. By all accounts, that means that Luigi's Mansion 3 has a better variety of locations, and it's all well done.
Yes.
Gameplay-wise, the original game was just point light, suck up ghosts. Simple, easy, to the point. Luigi's Mansion 3, you've got to make sure to flash the light. Some ghosts have like different ways you have to suck them up. Some require you to, some require you to like go into different furniture, hit them, and then boop, they pop up. Others require you to shoot the plunger at them, all this stuff. By all accounts, that makes it a better, more interesting game. Okay? So by all accounts, what I'm trying to say is Luigi's Mansion 3 is a better game in almost every single aspect to Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2.
Wow,
But-
the way you hate a game sounds awfully like the same as when you like a game.
Here we go.
What are you getting at?
Here's the bomb drop. Here's the bomb drop.
Here it comes.
But I don't like the third game as much as the first game because of a few reasons. One, the first game's world building is subtle and there's so much to it. Like each of the ghosts have descriptions and backstories and a path. You go into the wall of Neville's room and read books, and it's got a diary from the mom that you're reading. You learn about their nana. All the ghosts are like a family, and they all connect and all that stuff. The third game, the ghosts are just, in their own little world. They don't really have that much, to do with each other, and they don't have any descriptions either.
You don't think that the Sharky Ghost has a family? He's not part of the.
He's got a family.
He's Uncle
Uncle
Pirate Shark.
Sharky.
Yeah.
So-
Uncle Parkour Shark.
Uncle
Alright, so-
Pirate Shark hook for a hand.
So
Finn.
first of all, we need somebody to send a picture of Bad Boy Beta with sunglasses, and it just says K.
okay. Okay.
That's what Bad Boy Beta. Okay.
You know me, Bad Boy Beta. But
Okay.
it's not only that. It's not only that. It's like, okay, so the first game is simple, can be completed easily, and I really like that. And Luigi's Mansion 3, I'm just gonna say here, it's not scary. It's not scary one bit. It's got like areas that are scary in a way.
It has
They've
jump
got like
scares. There are some jump
What?
scares.
I mean,
There's one
technically.
jump scare.
Do you know how many fart jokes they've made in Luigi's Mansion 3? At least a
few.
couple. At least a couple.
Hey
There's a
man,
few.
flatulence is no joke. That is scary. Okay.
When you get as old as me, you never know what could happen.
You don't
It's
know
always
which
a
end it's gonna
toss-up.
come out of.
Okay,
Scary.
all right. So one of your
yeah.
biggest complaints clearly is some of the missing aspects from the first game, and that's fair. But at the same time, I'll say just to my experience, those extra features were not something that I put a lot of focus into, and so it didn't do that much to make the experience so memorable for me. At the end of the day, the things that stand out the most with Luigi's Mansion 1 is exploring the mansion, coming across the unique ghosts, the boss ghosts or mini boss ghosts, and the atmosphere, you know, the like the haunting music and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to like use the Game Boy horror and like interact or like see Luigi talk about how he fears putting his white glove on a dusty, you know, table and stuff like that. It's a quirky little feature, and I enjoyed it too. But that's not the focus point for me with a Luigi's Mansion game.
Oh yeah.
Now I
for
understand
sure.
that you're a bigger fan than me, so you know we're absolutely going to have different opinions on this. But for me, there was a lot of things I was longing for with the original game. There was a lot of things that I noticed that the first game did really well because of the second game. The third game, however, to me, it blows everything out of the water. It's like you kind of briefly touched upon. The multiple environments is something I've wanted for a long time. There might be a Game Club podcast where I even said, like, I kind of want a Luigi's Mansion game where you, like, explore outside the mansion. Like, even though it's all faux and it's still supposed to exist in a hotel room, you get to go to a pirate ship. You get to go to a movie studio. You know, you get to go to a disco. It's nice.
There you go. No, it's right there where you said you get to go to a disco. Okay, here's I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna sound like I'm actually saying bad things about myself, but it's fine. You'll understand when I say it. So basically, I wanted a Luigi's Mansion game. I've always wanted a Luigi's Mansion game that's scary, that's spooky, that makes me like actually go like whoa, that's actually kind of spooky. The dissonance between a Mario Luigi guy and a spooky, scary atmosphere, that kind of distance between the two is what I live for in life. But here's the thing. As you learn about on my episode of Beta 64, don't forget
wink.
to watch. Wink, wink. As you learn, the developer never, ever had the intention of making the game a spooky, scary game to scare people. There was never that intention, okay? If they looked at Luigi's Mansion 3, they'd probably be like, yes, our vision has been realized. And stuff like that. And so on and so forth. So here's the thing. I want something that not even the original developers wanted. I want something that no one in the history of Luigi's Mansion has been like, this is what we should do. So what am I? What even am I?
So, but you realize that will never happen, right?
It won't. It won't ever happen. And that's why I'm like, I love Luigi's Mansion 3, but I can't help but just feel like this is what I wish and long for, and I will never have.
Yeah, I mean, like I can argue against like the disco. I'm glad you brought that one up because in the context of something that you would consider spooky or scary, it feels kind of out of place. The movie studio also feels kind of out of place in that regard. What were some of the other flaws that I?
Well, just to add to this, maybe it does feel a little out of place, but it makes it interesting.
You're totally right. It makes it interesting. It's quirky. Once you align your perspective as like Luigi's Mansion 3 is not meant to be a scary or a spooky game. Once you align your perspective to that, it's I love it. I love the jokes in the game. Like I've already gotten my perspective aligned to it after playing it for a while and being like, okay, it's not meant to be spooky. I'm gonna live with this. Then it's like I love like the little disco party. I love the fact of like of Morty, like you know the director Morty, and just being like, "You have such a beautiful face," and I thought it was funny and it's quirky and I love it. That's the thing. I love Luigi's Mansion 3. I really do. It's a really fun, great game. Way better gameplay and stuff. It's just I'm just disappointed that I'll never get what I actually truly want.
Yeah, and you never will.
And I never. Thanks.
Well,
thanks,
that's
Papa,
the end
she
of that.
says.
Yeah, it's like you said, the developers of the original game never really intended it for it to be that scary, and I think that's also why they scaled it back, is because it did kind of push that line occasionally. But with that said, we're all adults, so it's fair. It's going to be harder than ever to spook one of us.
Yeah. Well,
Andy was never afraid of anything, so good luck
he
with
ain't
that.
afraid no ghost.
Yeah. Sorry.
But like with that said, though, I try to consider myself as a small child playing this game, or rather think about what it would be like if I was a small child playing this game. And there's some scenes that are kind of intense. Like for example, just the cat in general.
I did like the cat.
Polterkitty. Yeah, I love that.
Polterkitty. That's, again, we're all adults, so we're not going to get afraid of any of this stuff anymore. But imagine being a small child and then all of a sudden, like, a cute little cat just turns into a giant fanged monster. And the only way to take it down is to turn your back to it. You know? That's kind of...
Or,
so,
like, the walls that, like, with the spikes in the medieval one where you're, like, stuck in the jail and Luigi's going to get crushed by spikes and you have to get Luigi out there to flip the switch.
That and there were a few places in the kind of Egyptian pyramid section of the game that were exactly some of those traps were like, what do I do? What do I do? And it was like there's a definite tension and urgency to the whole thing. Yeah, I can imagine that being pretty.
So what you're saying, she says, is that I've grown up and I'll. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. No. It's essentially that, and I think. I mean, again, everybody can disagree, but I think that I honestly believe that this is the scariest Luigi's Mansion game, but none of them are scary. None of them are.
No.
No.
And like the first game maybe has like a little bit more of a haunting vibe to it, with the music being so like intense. The music in Luigi's Mansion 3, it pulls off an eerie vibe, and again, that's not to say that's a bad thing, because in Luigi's Mansion 2, it just sounded crappy.
Yeah,
it sounded innocent. And Luigi's Mansion 3 still goes for an unsettling vibe. It's not as powerful as the boom, 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 boom. But
yeah, I feel like 3 bridges the gap nicely between 1 and 2.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think on all accounts, 3 is the best game in the series.
Yes.
I'm still going to like 1 better, only, as my wife says, my nostalgia goggles are tight.
Yeah.
So it's like, by all accounts, even me, Andrew, the one who likes Luigi's Mansion 1 to death and would play it 1,000 times over, even I have to agree that yes, Luigi's Mansion 3 is the best game in the series. By all accounts. But I'm still going to play 1 more.
Fair enough. I'll actually say that I'll probably go back to 3 willingly, out of fondness. With 1, it's kind of like I had to give it a second chance at one point, and I enjoyed it a lot more the second time around. And I think it's because my expectations were a lot different than my first time playing the game. But I will say that I don't have much of a desire to go back to 1, because I can recall all the events very clearly in my head, and also remember the slog that is trying to get from point to point, Yeah. It's a very short experience, but the length of the game is through trial and error and walking through various rooms to find the right areas to go to next. Whereas with 3, it's a little more streamlined, not to the point where it's childish or like too simple, I guess. I can't put that to words as well, but they're like micro challenges, and because your only focus is on the one floor, there's a lot less backtracking or incorrect rooms that you'll end up exploring as you're going through the game.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like Luigi's Mansion 1 a lot for the fact of I remember everything. That probably helps. 'Cause I don't remember much backtracking, because for as long as I can remember, I know how to beat the game perfectly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, now you're saying, Andy.
That's good. I love this game. I really enjoyed my time with it. There were a couple of things I didn't enjoy though. And there's small things. Some of them could be down to me not being like particularly like thinking about it hard enough. There were a couple of boss fights that I really didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy the boss fight with Clem down in the boiler room.
Same.
I didn't enjoy it because I didn't like that. It's just going to sound so dumb, but it's a small thing that I feel would make a difference. Luigi is sitting in this rubber duck, which I loved, but he's facing the way he would be going the opposite way, if that makes sense. So he's going forward, but he's facing backwards. And just little things like that just felt unintuitive to me. And that was just a finicky boss fight anyway. It was like, what do I do? Oh, I have to dodge him, and then he turns around. He has to attack me first, and then I can attack him. And then I have to get out of the boat to get to the surface to get my hits on him, and then he goes back. It's just like, I didn't enjoy that. A bit of trial and error I didn't enjoy. I had the same thing with the disco fight. Really didn't enjoy that one because I was like, but I'm looking at the right one. For anybody who doesn't know or is going to play the game, or perhaps can empathize with the situation I had, you have a bunch of dancers and you have to figure out which one's dancing a little bit differently, and they're the ones that are holding the elevator button. And I swear to God, I was looking at the right one, and I was getting. You have to flash them with the flashlight, and I was getting them, and it just wasn't registering. And I was like, well, what am I doing? And I died about 5 times on that boss, and I was just like, okay, I know what they're doing here because I've seen this trope a million times in different games, especially in Mario games. And it's like, what am I doing wrong? And I didn't enjoy that boss fight at all. So there were a couple of boss things that I didn't enjoy. There were some points of the game. Sorry to cut you off. I just want to say there were some points of the game where it was like they give you a lot more to do with this game. They give you the plunger. They give you the kind of the boost mechanic. What is it? It's not called boost. It's like you press the 2 triggers and you kind of go. Luigi jumps. Yeah. Blast, burst. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
it's called
something
burst.
like that.
They give you a lot of tools, and sometimes there is more than usual, and I was forgetting what tools did what.
And you need to use them.
Yeah, so
this game requires you to use them all.
Except for there's one part of the game I did enjoy with there's like a mega vacuum. You use it in the pirate ship area.
That's cute.
And I was like, I think you want to use it once.
Yeah, one time.
And I was like, why didn't they use that for like the final King Boo fight?
That's a good point. Yeah,
like,
that is definitely the weirdest thing is that
Yeah.
they introduced this thing, and yet somehow it only got used once, and it was for a very boring area of the game too. It's a lobby that's empty.
Yeah,
an empty lobby. What?
I know. But
mad.
Just using that thing where you could just suck up everything, I was like, I am powerful. And I was just sucking up everything. I was like,
oh, man.
This is cool on 2 levels. On a technical level, they modeled all this to be destructive. Wow, that's so cool. I wonder if they're going to bring this up anywhere else in the game, and they don't. Which for me was sad. But then it was like, oh, it's fun to suck up like everything. And I'm like, why didn't they use this more? And I definitely remembered using that and thinking, oh, this will be a trope in the final boss. I guarantee it. And it wasn't. I was like, okay, that's sad.
Now, I will say this. Did you all feel like Luigi was powerful in this game?
Well,
or
like
did you ever feel like he was weak?
Not necessarily.
No.
I didn't.
Because the thing I liked about the original Luigi's Mansion is that you didn't really ever feel like you had the one-up on anything. And in Luigi's Mansion 3, I always got the feel of like, I am one step ahead of everyone here, and I could suck them all to hell and back.
Yeah. Like, I got the tools to deal with the situation.
I didn't get that impression. Like, immediately that comes to mind is the Egyptian boss. That was pretty...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that made me feel pretty unempowered, and like having to figure out what to do took me a good while. Same thing with Morty's boss fight with the Godzilla ripoff there.
I thought you were saying just sucking up Morty. I was like,
yeah, actually, I struggled with that too.
Oh no. You're talking. Okay, so you're referring to what I'm saying. Yeah, I thought you were agreeing with Beta for a second there.
No.
No, yeah, it was like, and I loved what the solution ended up being, and that for the record, it's like Luigi was so unempowered in that boss fight that he couldn't do it by himself. He needed the power of another character.
He needed a power of the only one who loves him, Luigi.
Himself.
Yeah.
Can I ask if you struggled the same way I did? In the same way I said earlier, like I forgot I had certain things, or the game intends me to do things in a certain way using a move set that I have. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't figure that boss out at first.
No,
and
I
it was
couldn't
like
either.
it's okay. Well, I'm not strong. And the same thing happened in the final Boo fight, King Boo fight. The solution is you needed Luigi, and I was like, but I kind of forgot that I don't know why. It felt like they gave me so much that in any given situation, I don't want to say overwhelmed because that makes me feel stupid, but it's like
I'm overwhelmed with all 4 options.
But it's like, it's like, okay, well, I've tried this one. Okay, well, that's not a solution, and you have like at least 5 other things you can try, and I feel like that was maybe too much. Like maybe they didn't do enough in guiding the player into like. I don't know.
Oh, Andy,
I
what
can
are
feel
you
that.
saying?
I'm saying
I can agree.
I'm saying that at times
You agree?
it didn't feel obvious.
Look, I'll say this.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Children, listen to yourselves.
I got
if you're really
confused by a Mario.
I didn't know what to do.
I didn't, though. I didn't.
I need
What about the
game
freaking-
to tell me.
No.
Wait. Hold on.
How dare you?
1 second. 1 second. Just 1 second. You tweeted you couldn't. Was it you? I'm pretty sure it was you.
Oh,
You
yeah,
did-
yeah. No, but
Yeah,
I
no,
love
okay, right.
that, though.
Sit back down, Mister. I didn't know.
Oh,
Because
no. Look,
you
I'm not
couldn't
saying that
get
I can
into the
figure these
pyramid.
things out immediately. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that, of course, no. Like, I'm right there. I was right there with you guys. I was in the
Oh,
trenches,
good.
too. I couldn't figure out a lot of things for over 20 minutes. It was pretty pathetic on my part. But this game, at the end of the day, is like an interactive puzzle. It's a
It
giant
is.
puzzle.
Well, it's
And
like
so-
I'm not agreeing with Andy where he says make it more obvious.
I just feel like they didn't. I had so many things that I could do that I was forgetting what I should do.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe there could have been a mode, right, where the game does it for you.
Maybe
Oh
a
wait,
little badly mode for you.
It could be like in some of the other like new Super Mario Brothers, I don't know, Wii U or whatever, where you're so bad at the stage, Luigi does it for you. It could
Right.
literally
I
be
got
that.
this.
Yeah.
Luigi's like, step back.
Jokes,
I got this.
jokes aside, though, it's funny because like I just need to advocate for the people that are not in this discussion. There's a lot of people that were mad about the fact that EGAD would constantly nag you to do what you're supposed to do. And to those people, I just want to say real quick too, I immediately turned that off as soon as I knew that you
Yeah,
could turn it
same.
off.
Oh, was that an option? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
And again, that made my experience with the game so much better.
So true.
Yeah, because it is a little naggy, isn't it? Like you want to just kind of like stop
for
and
sure.
appreciate things, and all of a sudden EGAD just pops up and it's like, why aren't you at that
haven't
elevator?
gotten my suitcase yet.
Right. Yeah.
like, 'cause
so,
I'm
No, that
Exploring.
happens all the time. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like you spend a couple minutes just like, oh, I want to vacuum out this room. He's like, shouldn't you be getting back to this?
Yeah, and it's like, no, I want to. You've given me this wonderful environment that's so filled with just like nooks and crannies that I want to see what's on the other side of this wall. Like on the 5th floor, you walk down and then you see, like, I didn't notice it the first time, but on the second passing, there's like a bit of wallpaper that's hanging off the wall. And I was like, oh man, that's so cool. So obviously you suck it up, and then there's a whole nother room behind it. And it's just like stuff like that is what I love about this game. Just the fact that you can explore. But that also leads me to another point which I felt was kind of pointless. And I'm going to see if you guys can get me before I say it.
okay.
What's an element of this
Okay.
game you feel is kind of pointless?
Nothing?
Okay, so it's just me then.
What?
It's money. It's money.
Well, doesn't
They
that
give you-
contribute to the ending of the game?
Does it?
Yeah, there's ranks
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, but it's like, who cares?
Well, I was
Hold on
okay.
a second.
Okay,
Oh,
go
wow,
for
wow,
it.
wow, wow, Mario. That's the whole point of the money in the first game. That's it. But like
But
in
to
this
get the-
game, But in this
Yeah,
game,
but
you
it's
can you can buy things if you're really bad. So I mean, Andy, come on, you clearly used
I
it.
didn't
No.
know. This is the thing. I didn't use the money. Like, I
I'm
know
just
you could
messing
buy
with
the
you.
things.
Yeah,
but it's like,
there's no reason to buy the things
But they're
except to
complete-
make the game easier.
but every one of the things, the 3 items you can buy, I believe it's 3. I haven't looked any further. Is it just 3?
I think
I
it's
think it's
just
just
Bones, the bones for like if you screw up and you
No
can,
upgrades or anything like that.
No, there's no
Yeah,
upgrades.
I wanted upgrades so bad.
You can find the gems or you can find booze. So every one of the buyable items in this, which is one of the sole reasons for having money outside of getting a rank, which I don't care about personally, they're kind of optional, which makes the money feel kind of pointless. And like you just said, Beta, I'd prefer there were upgrades that I could buy. It would make money, because money is everywhere. There's not a single thing you don't suck up that doesn't
Well,
have money somewhere tied to it. And I
Here's
just
the
feel
thing.
Go
if
on.
I can interrupt.
yeah, go.
That was implemented in Dark Moon, and to me that was just it was cumbersome because it was slowing the game down. Like if I needed a necessary upgrade, you have to grind for the money. You have to find the money.
What
you
if
know?
it was cosmetics?
Yeah. Or just
What
like
if it was like a cute Luigi gets a Mario outfit? Luigi wears a dress.
dude, can we?
Dude.
Oh, you get to play as Toad. Sorry, I just really
There you go.
enjoyed
You
that.
pay money. You
Well,
pay money to
all
the
right.
To be a
Toad to
Toad.
play as Toad.
Now you're just pandering to me. I can't.
See,
love
it
to
could have
play
been
as Toad.
different. But these are the things. Like this is taking away from the game in a sense that I love everything they did. They put so much love into this game. And lately, I'm beginning to realize, like, you can tell when a game is just made out of money, or it's just made because people are passionate about these things.
Yeah.
This is definitely a passion project for a lot of people on this game. You can tell, you can feel it, and I just feel like certain things like the money. I wish they'd have had like, yeah, sure, costumes, or just like, the poltergeist is now twice as powerful. It's not necessary, but you can, hey, you've got all this money. Why not do it anyway? It's just like
But then
optional
it would hurt
cool
your
upgrades.
ending score. That's the only thing. And like again, that's
No, I think
that's
they
just
could-
what Luigi.
Oh, yeah, that is a good... Oh, wait, she says you made a good point. So that's why it's only upgrades. I mean, only, like, hints and cheats, because it takes away from your ending.
Right.
God, now
Yeah.
it makes... Thank you. Now it finally makes sense.
Maybe they should just tie it to like points then. Maybe
Well, they could have just tied it as, like, total money you got in the entire game.
Yeah, you could have
Yeah.
done that too. Sure.
Yeah,
But-
I just
But
feel
I
like
like the idea. I like that idea though. That like, if you don't rely on all the things that make the game easier, it makes your rank better at the end of the
Yeah.
game. That's an element that wasn't even in the original game. Like
that would have been
in the
more
original game, it
interesting.
was-
Maybe.
Yeah, in the
I just
original
didn't
game,
know.
it was
I didn't
just
realize.
rank. That was it.
Yeah. But
And like,
the reason I'm saying this is because I felt I was spending a lot of time just sucking things up and getting money, which is so satisfying to do. Like, you feel like it has to mean something. And then at the end of the game, to me, overall, because I don't care about rank, and if it's tied to that it just feels like I don't care about it,
can I add to the hate fire a little bit?
Of course. Please.
You say it's so satisfying to collect the money, but I gotta say, like, some of the things about collecting the money that didn't feel good. Like if there's like a stack of bills, for some reason I can't just walk up to the bills and collect them all. I have to like suck them out of the
for a
stack.
whole minute.
Yeah, and I'm like, come on, why? Like it's right there. Why can't Luigi just like barrel through the stack of money and just collect it? Same thing with like large stacks of coins. It's like, why can't Luigi just kind of like barrel roll into that and just enjoy it?
Yeah.
Maybe
just
like
enjoy it.
maybe like he could like jump into. Oh yeah. Like he could like jump into a pile of money and like spit out the coins, and all of a sudden the coins just like suck into him. It
And
would
then
have been
starts
great.
playing the DuckTales theme.
Yes. Imagine.
Luigi. Oh yeah, no, but oh wow, I still had Luigi in my thoughts there.
Oh, he's in your head now.
No, but like let's pivot back to some positives here, because
Yes.
Mort, I love the boss fight with Mort. I love the boss fight itself. I love what the solution ended up being. I loved when he was like crying about his megaphone, and it's funny enough, I was like at a point now where I was trusting the game's charming personality to a point where I was like, I wonder if like when Luigi brings back his megaphone, is Luigi going to look nervous or apprehensive about this? And I was very happy to see that, like, there was very careful animation of Luigi kind of like being terrified at the idea of handing this over to the ghost, you know? And I also like how it gives you like this like morality choice after you beat the boss, like where he escapes.
Did you suck up Morty?
I did both. I wanted to see what happened with both.
Oh, really? I
but
just sucked him up. What's the difference? Is there
there's no difference, I don't think.
Except for your heart and whether it's black or not.
Oh, well,
whether
mine's black then.
stained with disdain.
My immediate thought was, like, I'd heard there was a decision to be made somewhere in the game. I didn't know if this was it, so I sucked him up anyway. Oh, God. Hey, you got to cover all the bases.
And it was funny because I had to save the video because I wasn't sure if I was like, I had to do a double take. When you suck him up, Luigi does, in fact, sound a little remorseful when he sucks him up. Because normally he goes like, oh, yeah. But like when he suck him more, he goes, oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't
so
notice
sad.
that.
Of course,
I will say this game gave me one very strong moment that I didn't think I needed from any Mario game. But in the end, before you rescue Peach, I'm sorry if this is a spoiler for anybody.
We've done tons of those already.
This is cool. That moment where you're standing next to Mario and he's looking at the painting and he's like pleading with Luigi to rescue Peach. Like, how genuine was that? I was like, damn, he really loves Peach. Like, I'm doing this for you, brother. It's like that was a real moment for me. I thought that was some beautiful characterization.
Oh my God.
We
And
never
the
really see
dialogue,
that kind of
too.
thing.
When
Yeah.
Mario is like, brother, you must do what I cannot. Let's
Luigi,
go. Yeah.
I just thought
He's like,
that
okay,
was
brother. I'll
just
do
thought
it
that
for
was-
you and the Mushroom Kingdom. Yeah.
Get out of here, Toad. But I just
I
thought
believe in you too, Luigi. Get out of here, Toad. Go away.
I thought that moment was just so genuine and just like I didn't know I needed that, and it's like, wow, they
I just started crying.
Just the
It was
like
so-
I loved.
it was just perfect.
It's like it's like, since we can talk about the end of the game, I really really liked the fact that you rescue Mario first and Luigi's like, come on, let's go back, and he's like, no, this way, and he like runs out. And I just like how we got to get a taste of Mario's personality in the Luigi's Mansion series. I know that you get a little bit of that in Dark Moon as well, but here it was even better because you got to spend like a good 15 minutes with Mario before the final battle, and like you can just get that demeanor of him being far more heroic and bullheaded towards a goal, you know. And I like that they also squeaked in the fact that Mario's really good with his parkour and he was like doing wall jumps and stuff like that.
I like the bit where he jumps the gap in the stairs. You have to kind of, as Luigi, you kind of have to sidle around it and very nervously, but Mario's just like, woohoo, it just jumps over the whole thing in one go.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that stuff.
I loved that. It's great because we're so used to playing as the legend that it doesn't really feel, you don't feel that immersion anymore, but like to be on the outside looking in on what Mario is versus what Luigi is with his poltergust was a real treat. And again, it's a detail that never had to be in the game. Mario very well could have just like been rescued and then it was a cutaway and then Luigi just like goes and rescues Princess Peach. But no, the developers made sure to have this nice little interactive experience that was not necessary. It was only there for world building, and the game is filled with that. Filled with it. Like, for example, like it's not giving the animators enough credit if we're not talking about stuff like how on every single floor that you get to in this game, Luigi has a unique animation as he exits the elevator.
Yeah, I love that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be there, but they went for the effort anyway, you know? And the game is just sprinkled with that all over the place. And every time, like, I think it's done, we're going to start recycling animations and stuff like that. It just keeps going. And I am so impressed with this game. And I think it may be my favorite Nintendo Switch game to date. To date.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
It's definitely up there for me. Yeah, I'd have to agree. It's not the best, but it's maybe second or third. Yeah. I'm going to stick it somewhere around there. It's so well done. Everything you just said there just resonates with me. Those are the things that I loved about it too. And I think before we go to wrap this up, I think we should also talk about another thing of this game that we all had a little part in, and that would be the multiplayer.
Right. The scare scraper.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Now it's something that I'd never dabbled in. I think does the Dark Moon have a multiplayer element in there?
Yeah,
That's
it had scare scraper as well.
Yeah, I didn't dabble in that at all. So this was my first
I dabbled
experience
in it
with
a little bit. It was pretty good. I
Yeah.
did it on a stream a long time ago. It was good. But I don't know. I prefer Luigi's Mansion 3, even if it isn't like the environments in the scare scraper in Luigi's Mansion 2 I thought were a little better, but just there's so much more variety of gameplay and stuff. I just loved it. Even if it was hard as balls.
Yeah, it was way too hard. That was the weird contrast. Is like the main game is, you could argue, maybe too simple. I wouldn't say so. I think that it provided a nice amount of challenge without destroying my soul. This mode though did destroy my soul. The jovialness that you guys provided helped me through, but my God, like why is it so hard? You know,
the time limit. The time limit is way too strict. It's way too strict. They did
You have
like
to be
even
perfect.
Yeah, like 2 more
goal
minutes on top
catching.
would have been easier. Yeah,
The goal catching one is the hardest one. I don't think we ever beat that one.
we didn't. I don't think we did. We made it to. We did like 5 floors. But
Yeah,
of which
and
we
we did,
were
like-
only able to complete like 2. I think we
Yeah.
did 3 once, and then that was it. It was like super difficult. But
And
I
that's
will
with
say
4
this,
people.
and that was with 4 people. We had a good friend Space Chicken on as well.
Hashtag space chicken. Wait,
Hashtag-
shout out space chicken.
Shout out Space Chicken.
He was not prepared for us.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
He's like,
but-
what did I get myself into?
Yeah, but I will say one thing: as hard as it was, I really enjoyed my time with that. I'm discovering a lot more that I do enjoy any game that gives me access to hang out with friends and play something that I already enjoyed. I knew I was in for a good time before we did it, simply because of the company I was going to have and also what we were going to be doing. So, like, for that kind of thing, I really appreciate it. Maybe because we just did Scare Scraper. We didn't do Scream Park.
I don't think you can. I think that's local only.
Oh, is that really? They should change that. They should make that a thing that anybody can get involved with. It will be more fun. I think, like I'm saying, any game that gives you an option to play with friends and do the same thing but with company is okay in my book.
I'll say this: my only real complaint, because I mentioned like one little thing here and there, and that's definitely nitpicking. I think this is like a genuine complaint of mine. I don't understand why they introduce multiplayer options to this game and don't allow you to play as other characters.
Yeah.
I think that's really lame. And you know, I've seen like some counter arguments on Twitter and stuff like that, because I mentioned it on Twitter, and they were saying stuff like, "Oh, you really want to take away Luigi's one game, like one series from him?" And I was like, "Dude, the whole single player you have to play as Luigi, which is great." Multiplayer though, I mean, come on, like
It could be anything.
We could have Egad, we could have
Yes.
Toad. It doesn't have to be Mario. I get that, like Mario kind of
Egad
detracts.
would be fun.
I'll be
Yeah.
Peach. I don't mind. That's fine.
Peach.
I would rather be Toad, but I realize, that's a conflict of interest because then you'd be saving.
You would have to do
being
quite a bit of
choice.
animation work, but I mean, they were doing it anyway. They were doing
Yeah.
over and beyond anyway. Might as well.
I
go.
don't think it would be that much. I don't think, I bring up Peach. Peach is around the same height as Luigi, so you just map the rig to another model, I guess. You could potentially do the same with Mario. I don't know.
You wouldn't have to do too much. Again, the height's going to be different. The walk cycle animation is going to be different, but like, it's worth it. They do it for Mario Party.
Yeah.
It's not as complicated as we want to believe it is. It's not. It is a little bit of extra effort, but like when you have multiplayer in your games, this is like common territory.
Yeah.
Like New Super Mario Brothers U, they walk differently, but they all function the same.
Yeah.
So that's my big complaint there. Can we talk about one thing though? I want to completely derail and talk about one thing that's kind of unique to Luigi's Mansion 3, I believe.
Go for
and
it.
I find it slightly disturbing.
Disturbing?
There's a lot of animal abuse in this game.
What? Wait. Well, I mean,
In Luigi's Mansion 1, there was ghost mice.
Yeah,
there was
there's-
ghost bats.
Oh yeah, you're right. These are like straight up actual mice.
And they're non-threatening. They're like, they can bump into you and cause 5 damage, but for the most part, they look at you and they run away. So it's like, you can just take your vacuum cleaner and suck up a living creature into it.
What about the gold ones?
yeah, wait, but that's the thing. They're gold mice.
They
What
would
are
be
Are
in
they
pain.
real?
I'm pretty sure they would be in pain.
Yeah, I was
They've
gonna
been-
say
they've been
just because
smelted.
they're made of gold, it doesn't mean they don't feel pain.
Yeah.
But could it be that the mice are simply an illusion?
Nah, they're real mice.
Yeah, they're definitely real mice.
Just like a statement from Nintendo comes out. It's like,
Yeah.
they're just an illusion, correct? No, they are real.
Nah,
Why
they're
is
straight
he
up real.
Italian?
They're straight
It's
up
so
real.
sad too, because like as you're sucking them in, they're grabbing onto the ground like, please, I'm gonna die. It's like, bloop. It's
Oh,
like,
I don't hear that. I hear them testing me. Yeah, you think you're gonna suck me up? You're gonna? Oh, you are. Yeah, you're actually gonna do it, aren't you?
You gonna do
no,
it?
they scream in terror. If I recall, like if you listen in, they go like,
You actually hear them go, no!
yeah, really.
It's just like really pitched up and fast.
No, didn't hear any of that. I think they enjoyed it. Hey,
Yeah.
I tell you why they enjoyed it, because they paid me money straight afterwards. It happens. They go thump,
It's
and then
essentially a
money
mugging.
appears. Yeah, it's a mugging. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
on the
know
back
why
of the
mice
box.
are carrying around money, but you know,
Oh,
Enjoy
yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3 now with mice mugging.
A bullet point on the back of the box.
Oh man,
It's like actually there, but no one paid attention to the box. And you're like, oh, yeah, it is.
yeah, it's there. It's in small
So
print.
it's rather disturbing. I don't get it, but
Maybe it's a Nintendo thing. They
know,
think because they can put it because they can make it cute, it's not wrong.
No.
That's what it is.
so I gotta say too, going back to Dark Moon, the intro to that game was trash in comparison to these other 2 games. Like it's just basically like you see a story scripted intro and then it throws you into a level.
Yeah,
like,
doesn't it
immediately.
like just EGAD just go, hey, I need you. Okay,
Yeah, pretty much.
welcome.
It's like,
Basically.
welcome back, buddy boy. Let's do this. And yeah, that's basically it. With Luigi's Mansion 1, you get into the mansion and it's quiet. You don't know what's going on, and like it takes you a little while before you see your first ghost, and I kind of like that. And then with Luigi's Mansion 3, I love the whole illusion at the start of the game, like, and it's so expertly crafted. Like I loved that the ghosts are wearing masks and stuff, and like one of
Their
them
shoe-
even
they're like actually floating, but they have parachutes underneath them.
yes, and there's one that breaks character a little too much and on purpose. It's great. And I also love too that after everything's said and done, it's like, obviously it's no big surprise you're playing Luigi's Mansion. That it ends up being like haunted and stuff. I love that like you can see like the environment tell a tale. Like we touched upon earlier with the pizza boxes for Mario. You can also get into like a storage room and see like the masks being stored and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's very nice.
So much love in this game.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed the bit before it all turned spooky, and you're just Luigi in your hotel room.
He's like so
It's like-
happy. He's just
Well,
like,
it's just that they do it like they light it so beautifully with this kind of golden sunset rays coming through the thing, and you can just walk around and everything does something, and the music's like the
I
music's very
almost
serene.
kind of when
I
saw
wasted
Luigi
20 minutes
like,
in that room.
Wait, 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Yeah, I spent-
I timed it.
Because like before we got onto this, I was saying that me and Elliot played this. Like I love the fact that they dropped this on Halloween. It just really lends to the whole mood of the day. So
Yeah.
I love that. Forever thankful for that kind of, because it gives you these moments in real life that you can spend, like me and him playing this game. And yeah, we spent like 20 minutes. He wanted to see what everything did, and I was just as curious. So we just went around the room just testing everything.
That
And it's
is
like-
adorable.
Yeah. We have a lot of these moments these days where we just kind of play the newest game. And like that was, and it's the kind of thing where I let him take the reins these days because he's getting good at games now. He's 5 years old, so he wants to play. So I just let him just mooch around the room. What does it do?
He's better than me now.
He's better than me now. He's a pro player. But like silly, like they give you the option to like pet Polter pup, and it's just like he loved that, and I loved that. It's like this is why this game was so much fun for me. Because they give you these little options, they do so much with the environment and storytelling. It's serene when it needs to be serene, and it's spooky when it needs to be spooky. And it's just like I really enjoyed my time with it. Apart from the couple of the ghost battles, boss battles, the rest of it was just a blast. Yeah.
Even I agree. It was a blast.
It sucked and it was a blast.
It sucked. It both sucked and it flowed.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, there's some environments that I like more than others. I didn't like, just like you, not so much the boss fight, but I didn't like the environment of the, like what is it like?
The boiler works, the sewer
boiler
area. Yeah. I didn't enjoy that.
Didn't like the boiler room.
Yeah, it was just like I didn't like the music. And it's not that the music was inappropriate. It was just that I don't like the Southern hick aesthetic.
No,
and that's all of that.
That's the last thing you expect.
And that's permeated throughout that entire floor.
It is,
and so it's not my preferred. But you know, also what it stands to represent is the amount of variety the game has. So
so much variety.
It. And it actually is, you know, to be fair to that floor too, it is clever to kind of like turn a boiler room into almost like a Southern Bayou kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know, despite the fact that it's not, but like it kind of draws you into that feel, despite the fact that it's still very much a hotel boiler room. You know.
Yeah.
I like that, but oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, one of the things that I liked about the original game was that it was all Spooky Mansion. And with Dark Moon, they kind of got to it being something else far too quickly. It sets it up as, oh, we're in another mansion and it's spooky, and then it's quickly not. This game let us live in kind of the spooky hotel a lot longer than the previous game, which I was very appreciative of, because I liked just exploring the regular hotel floors and, you know, just seeing what that was all about. And before it changes to you know, like the movie set or the pirate ship or the castle aesthetic or any of that stuff, like I liked that they let us live in a spooky mansion-esque setting for as long as we could.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still like each floor still was unique, and it's lended to the fact that these developers decided to go with a hotel instead of a mansion this time. With a mansion, if we just got another mansion, it would have just been another mansion. And like I think that it just would have been too much of the same thing. But with a hotel, it's clever because it's still you're still walking around a large indoor environment, but it's a hotel is very much different from a mansion. And so like you also get this added benefit of, if you were a veteran Luigi's Mansion player, you're exploring all new environments essentially, despite the fact that it still fits into that theme that the original game had. I love that. And again, like at first I was a little apprehensive. I was like, a hotel, but no, it works so well.
Yeah. How
Good
bad?
Next level.
How bad do you want this to be an experience that you could have in real life? That was one of the things I was thinking to myself. I was like, because I was playing on a lot of this on Halloween, I was like, man, I wish I knew someone with a huge house that I could just turn all the lights off and just go around. Okay. Yeah, I'll do their vacuuming as well as they do it. They're gonna have a real clean house when they come home. But like, just the fact that like it sets you up in a way that it makes you feel like a child again. Like it'd be great to be able to do this as an experience in real life. But yeah,
play the arcade.
Did you?
Yeah, I only got to. Speaking about the arcade, I only ever got to do that once. We had it quite locally, and it's not there anymore. I wish I could own that somehow.
I did it. I played it once in Japan, and I failed after literally within 1 minute of turning on the game. I failed, it died, and I was like, well, I'm not spending another $3.
Yeah.
That was my entire
I had a similar experience where it was very difficult.
It's not as it's not the same as the it's not what you expect. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Did you guys notice that when he like gets spooked you know how he gets like he stands straight up and like his teeth are chattering and stuff like that. Did you ever notice that like when you turn the stick for the flashlight, he's so scared that his whole body doesn't turn with him for a good while? Like his arm will be the only thing that moves and he'll be looking straight forward.
It's so cute.
Yeah, I think
It's a detail you might miss.
Yeah,
but it's a nice perk.
There were so many good things like that. Just so many details like that really sold the whole thing.
The real takeaway is just there's so much love and effort put in this game with a crazy amount of detail, and just stop and smell the roses. Enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
Enjoy yourself.
You're not playing this game right if you're not at least stopping every time you go to a new environment and just look and just touch things, you know, like walk into things and see what happens when you touch them, or before sucking it up, blow it. You know, I had a lot of fun, you know, blowing like a
I really hope I really hope someone doesn't take this out of context. Carry on.
Before you suck, blow.
I think now is a good time to move into final words.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, really. Good night, everybody. Okay, yeah, all right, we can do final thoughts. Sure.
Okay, I guess I'll start.
Go.
I said it before. I said it before. I'm still gonna like the first game better, and I don't think that anything's gonna change that. Only because my nostalgia goggles are on so tight that the original game just appeals to me in a way that the other games can't. Luigi's Mansion 3, I can't do that. But in all accounts, this is the best game in the series, and it's really fun. Even I think it's super fun, enjoyable experience. And if you're a person that's like disappointed, it's not spooky, as she said in the Link's Awakening episode, just get your expectations. Don't expect it to be a spooky experience. Expect it to be a fun, make you feel like a kid again kind of experience. Or if you're a kid, a fun, you're still a kid experience.
Yay.
and yeah, I love the game. I can't deny it. I love the game, even if I prefer the first game. I love the game.
Well said. Yeah, I loved the original. I didn't dislike the second one. I thought they changed it up a bit in a different direction, and maybe not for the best. But the third one is a perfect marriage between what I loved from the first one and some of the elements I did enjoy in the second one, and it all just meshed together very nicely for me. I loved my time with it. Like I mentioned, I liked that they let you live in a spooky mansion for a long time before they change it up too much, and they work you into it. Nothing's too like, oh, we're here now, and that's kind of strange. It's just like all done. It's paced very nicely. Animation, all the unique animations, beautifully done. The attention to detail on this thing is just immense. I love the way it looks. The fact that it looks like a CGI kind of cutscene most of the time. It's a real benchmark graphically for the Switch, and I think it's something we'll still be looking at in a couple of years' time and go, wow, that game looked incredible. So yeah, I love my time with it. It's a great game. I think it's my favorite of the bunch.
This is the Super Metroid of Luigi's Mansion games. This is the Super Mario World of Luigi's Mansion games, and it is the Link to the Past of Luigi's Mansion games. It is a cut above anything else that the series has to offer. I think that finally we've gotten to a point where we have a superior sequel in the franchise. And yes, the original game will still continue to have themes and features and sensations that this game does not have, but there's just an overwhelming amount of things that make this game so much better. And I do recommend that if you have not played or simply didn't like either of the first two Luigi's Mansion games up to this point, you should try this one out and see if you maybe will enjoy it. I've never hated the Luigi's Mansion series, but it's certainly had a lot of room to impress me much, much further. And this game finally has accomplished that. Like I said, there's great unique environments, great expansions on the gameplay, great expansions on how the story is portrayed. And I'll say this too, this game really needs to be the benchmark for how future Nintendo games are animated. It kind of puts every single Nintendo game to shame in the animation department with how well animated this is. And I never thought it was possible. I thought simply there was not enough money in game development to accomplish something like this. But here with Luigi's Mansion 3, it's proof in the pudding that it can be done, and it should be done for all future Nintendo titles.
Yeah.
Expect the
I
next
agree.
Mario in 2024.
Hooray! It'll be fantastic, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've said everything. I think we
said all that
covered
needs
we
to
covered
be
a lot of bases in this one. There wasn't a lot that I disliked about the game. I've mentioned everything that I disliked. Yeah. Yeah.
And she says take us home.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you for watching. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we're going to drop it down right now.
Bing.
Well, there it is. If you caught us on YouTube and you're like, but Papa She says I want to watch this on SoundCloud. Well, guess what? We got a SoundCloud. We got it on the Google Play or whatever it is. I don't know what.
Yes,
We're on every single podcast
Literally everything.
platform.
We're everywhere
Just look
now.
us up.
Yay.
You just type in Game Club Podcast, and when you do, we'll pop up. And with that said, I think we got everything else covered. Oh, by the way, we haven't mentioned this in a while. If you know who I am, if you only know who Andy is, and if you only know who Beta is, by all means, check out the other two channels that are featured in this discussion, Boundary Break, Son of a Glitch, and Beta 64. It's all very similar content. Guarantee you're going to love it.
Yay.
Guaranteed. You heard it here. It's the Game Club Podcast guarantee.
In fact, I highly recommend you check out Beta's latest video.
Yes.
on
And I
Luigi's
highly
Mansion.
recommend you check out Andy's new video.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, definitely check out yours. A lot of really
Check out yours first.
Well, just have the two videos open in two different browsers and watch them simultaneously, and then see if your brain doesn't explode. And if it doesn't, then
you win.
Mine's about 50 minutes shorter than Beta's, so you'll be
You gotta repeat it.
You'll have a headache for the first 10, and then the 50 minutes of just pure bliss, and it's gonna be amazing.
Well, anyways,
Okay.
guys, thank you so much for watching, and we're going to take off and enjoy our lives.
Yeah, we got better stuff to do.
Bye.
Bye, Peach.
I wonder if anyone actually remembers Peach anymore, or if it's just become a thing.
It's been a thing for a long time. You realize
Now
we've been doing
it
this
should
for
be-
years now? We've been doing this for years now.
We have.
Yeah.
Oh my.
We
And
should
we're
change
only
it
on
to,
episode, like,
hey,
24.
bro.
Pedro?
Pedro. Oh, man.
Pedro. Good ending. Good ending. Pedro.